세계의 목소리, 독일 북한인권단체 사람 대표 니콜라이 슈프레켈스를 만나다. 안녕하세요, 박정아입니다. 독일 베를린에서 북한 주민들의 인권 향상을 위해 힘쓰는 사람이라는 단체가 있습니다. 지난 4일 국민통일방송이 공동 주최한 북한 정보자유화를 위한 국제회의 참석차 한국을 방문한 분이 계신데요. 사람 대표 니콜라이 슈프레켈스 씨입니다. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes, I think we met before at the international conference about human rights, something like information in North Korea. So, yeah, happy to meet you again.
Nice to meet you again.
Yes, and please introduce yourself to the viewers.
Yes. Hi, my name is Nikolai 슈프레켈스, and I'm the director of an NGO based in Berlin, Germany, about human rights in DPRK. Its name is SARAM'.
Okay, you said that you're the director, you're the representative of the SARAM'. So then what is SARAM'? Let us know about what SARAM' is doing and where it is and so on.
Yeah, so it's, as I mentioned, based in Berlin,
Yes.
which might be unique to have an NGO about North Korean human rights inside German country.
Yes.
And maybe to explain what we are doing, I should shortly explain how we started our activities at all.
Yes.
And we got into this issue actually by accident and just suddenly got a report, not the COI report, it was before that,
Yes.
about the human rights situation, like the malnutrition, like the propaganda and indoctrination of the people. And we were quite shocked about this human rights situation, especially because we weren't aware at all about that. So we tried to find a way to somehow work for human rights in DPRK and try to at first look for other NGOs, and so there are none in Europe dealing with only North Korean human rights. And then like 2 years later, we spent just educating ourselves about North Korea. We just founded a small NGO, like an association, and just started working by at first raising awareness by giving presentations about the human rights situation, the political system, the Juche ideology, stuff like that.
Yes.
And then we gained more members, and it's slowly growing a little bit.
Yes. Okay, then if you read out SARAM', it sounds the same as the word for people in Korean. Did you know that?
I know that.
Yes. Was that intended?
Yes.
Oh, really? Then how come did you use the word as the name of the organization?
We figured we had kind of an urgent situation to get officially founded at one day, because there was newspaper requests to get into contact to us. They wanted to have little reports on North Korea, and then therefore we needed to found our NGO. And then we just gathered and so thought, okay, today we need to find a name for the NGO so we can register tomorrow. Because there's 2 Koreans living in Berlin, members, we couldn't find a good name because so many names are already taken, and we wanted a short name that's easy to remember.
And easy to produce.
Right, right. And then we thought, well, maybe we can use something out of the Korean language and just use it in a German way as a name. And one of our Korean members suggested this to express we are not really dealing with politics or especially international politics. We are really focusing just on human rights, on the people, the human beings in North Korea.
Yeah, so that's why you call it as the 사람,
right?
Yeah, which means people.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a nice side effect when Germans listen to Koreans speaking in Korean. They are thinking they are talking all the time about our NGO.
Oh, really? It can be confusing, maybe. Yes, a little bit. Okay.
You just recognized later, but.
Okay, I see that. And the fact that you're German, not Korean, in fact, so it's unique that a German works hard to protect and develop the human rights in North Korea, DPRK. So is there any special reason or motive that you have to start this work?
Yeah, kind of. So at the foundation I'm hired, and I'm still hired there half of my time I use for the foundation as a project manager, I work there. And the other half I use for North Korean human rights. And this foundation is based on a concept about a philosophy that's called evolutionary humanism. And it's based on the ideas of Julian Huxley, who was one of the founders of the UNESCO. And so this is not about national identities at all. It's just about mankind worldwide and to care about human rights and development and so. So, and this is kind of my personal point of view. So when I learned about the North Korean human rights, I thought it was really one of the most sincere human rights situations we have globally right now.
Yes.
And on the other hand, it's quite depressing that this is going on so long, and there seems to be no easy way out to end this.
Yes.
So, keeping in mind that in Europe, nearly no NGO really deals with that, we thought we should try to do something.
Yes.
And on the other hand, later, when we tried to educate ourselves in the beginning about North Korean human rights, as I mentioned at the conference where we met a few days before, we had difficulties at first to get access to how North Korea works, how is the state run. It was easy to understand.
Because they are isolated from the outside.
Yes, it was very hard to gather information. And but then when I started to educate myself about Juche ideology and the cult around the Kim dynasty, this felt familiar in many ways to German history, especially not the time when Germany was divided into East and West Germany, but before that, at the time of Second World War, because there the Nazi regime we had in Germany, which was responsible for World War II, had quite a lot of similar ideas and ideology than North Korean ideology is about.
Oh, really? Then, in what aspects there are some similar to compare North Korea to Nazi regime?
Yeah, so there's really a lot of aspects, but even some differences. I was quite surprised, for example, to hear that North Korea has a really race theory to keep the North Korean race clean. And this is, of course, the same idea what the Nazi regime was all about, the idea to keep the German race clean and to spread it over Europe and maybe even more far. And so this was quite similar, for example, the way the North Korean secret police works is the Bovibo, you call it, right? It's very similar to the German secret police the Nazi regime had. It's called Gestapo, like secret state police. And they used very similar methods to do that, and the way of propaganda is very similar. So if you look at old propaganda posters from Nazi Germany, they're quite similar to North Korean propaganda posters. There's a few differences, but it's similar.
Okay, I will ask the next question that you, as we mentioned, that you attended the international conference, and I just wonder how come did you attend to this conference? Because it was far away from your nation, Germany. So what brings you here?
Well, I wanted to visit Korea for a long time, but I just hadn't the time, having like 2 jobs at home.
Yes, of course.
So when I was asked to come here, I immediately said yes, of course.
Oh, really? There is no moment to, okay, where it's okay or not, like that?
No, there wasn't. Okay. I was really curious to visit Korea, and this was a great opportunity. And before I had a lot of visitors from Korea and Berlin as well, and they often ask me about they like to compare the situation of the Korean Peninsula as a divided country to the divided Germany in the past. And I think it's a quite good idea, of course, to learn from past and to ask about experiences we had to avoid mistakes when Korea is reunited someday. But so a few of them asked me very detailed about the regime of East Germany and tried to compare aspects of North Korea to this. And I thought, this is not really working. So East Germany was a very bad regime, of course, and but it's not really comparable to North Korea. But Nazi German regime is in many points, and so
Something like you mentioned propaganda and policy.
Right. And even the educational system is quite similar in many, many points. And so I wanted to use the opportunity of this conference to just give my idea of maybe research about this German time period a little bit more, if you want to understand North Korea a little bit more. Because this was, as I mentioned before, what helped me to get an access into understanding how North Korea works.
Okay, I see. Then what do you think is the most important thing to change North Korean people? What do they need most?
Make the situation better in any way. I don't have any solution, of course, for that situation, but would be information.
Information,
yes. I think that would be the most important. I met a lot of North Korean refugees by now, and a lot of them told me they decided to defect when they learned about the outside world, and it's needed some time to believe what they, the information they got from the outside. But when they kind of believe that, they decided to leave North Korea. So to bring information in has some kind of effect.
Yes, I see. Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, then this program is also sent to the North Korean people through the radio. So please give them a message.
German guy. I think we had a very dark period in our own history and a very suppressive regime in Germany that did a lot of human rights violations. Maybe a lot more than North Korea is doing right now, especially to other countries. But German people at this time weren't all followers of that regime, but they were afraid to resist or to even dare to have own ideas and to think in their own ways about the regime in a maybe a little bit skeptical way. But in the end, the regime was defeated and Germany got the chance to have a new, fresh start. And now Germany is part of the European Union, a union of all European states joined together to take care of each other, to help and protect each other. And now just like 70 years after this dark period of World War II, this European Union is the most secure and wealthy region of the history of mankind, basically. So it's really worth to just keep your own thinking up and to not believe whatever is told to you by the maybe teachers in school, by the regime, by propaganda, and just be doubtful. This was always in European history a very good idea and a first step to change the European countries through the whole history of Europe.
Okay, thank you for your interview, Mr. Nikolai. I think many people, not only South Korea, but also North Korean people, are moved by your hard work. And of course, they will have some kind of trust and belief that there will be a change in near future. So thank you for sharing your experience and your thoughts. And
thank you for having me.
Okay, no, it's okay. And thank you for your interview. 먼 독일에서도 북한 주민 여러분들을 위해 힘쓰시고 또 걱정하시는 분들이 많이 있습니다. 비록 지금은 희망이 안 보이시고 힘드시더라도 끝까지 희망 잃지 마시고 꿈을 가지셨으면 좋겠습니다. 지금까지 북한인권단체 사람 대표 니콜라이 슈프레켈스 씨와 함께했습니다. 감사합니다.